So we do know that the Calgary Flames have been interested in a center for a while. By the way, I don't think we talk nearly enough about how good the Calgary Flames have actually been this year. I believe they're currently in a playoff spot, which, listen, I did not think was going to happen. They've had some good performances from their young goalie, Wolf. They've been a bit of a surprising team. I believe technically they are ahead of the Vancouver Canucks right now. And now we do have confirmation from Pierre LeBrun that the Calgary Flames have reached out to the Buffalo Sabres regarding Dylan Cozens. This was about a couple days ago this came out. Now, I think this makes a lot of sense, but it also depends on what Calgary has to give up. Listen, even if you're a rebuilding team, rebuilds can go quickly if you keep the right players and get rid of the right players, right? You just need the right mix of players that you can have a level of consistency. I mean, you can win in a ton of different ways. You can be an offensive team. You can be a team that's really good defensively. You can be a team that has excellent goaltending, or you can have two of three of those things. But either way, if you get the right mix of players, so I have no problem with Calgary going after this player, especially because of how desperate everybody is in the league for a center. I mean, it's a premier position. It's almost like a right-hand D used to be last year. Now, this is a player that is in year 2 of 7 of a 7-year contract at 7.1 million AAV. This is not a slight commitment by any team. But and again, this is a little bit risky because he has taken a step back. A lot of people in my comments look at his statistics and think, oh, he's just this player, he's that player. You have to give him a break because he plays on Buffalo. You really can't properly judge any players. Like, look at Jack Eichel. Like, he was always pretty good in Buffalo, but he's just been unbelievable for the Golden Knights. So I really just don't think it's fair to properly judge Dylan Cozens because of the team that he plays for. I actually think that technically Buffalo should be really, really careful even getting rid of him. I think that you got to be careful with this guy. Or at the very least, you have to ensure to get fair value for this player in a proper hockey trade. Now, what people consider fair value is going to be completely subjective. And again, you're going to have to make the cap hits work as well. Like, it's going to be really difficult to make it work. So I want to hear what your trade rumors would be, what exactly and how you would work out this possible deal as well. Now, you also have to remember that according to Puckpedia, the Calgary Flames have a lot of cap space. They have the financial flexibility to make something like this work. Their projected cap space is they have 17 million projected cap space, and their current cap space, according to Puckpedia, is 37 million. That's just what Puckpedia says. So they have a lot of space to make something like this work. And the Buffalo Sabres' projected cap space is 5.2, and their current cap space is around 11. So these are both teams that can possibly get something like this done, depending on what the trade actually looks like. Now, something that I was thinking of that it might center around might be something like JJ Peterka, Dylan Cozens going to Calgary, and then Rasmus Andersson, Matt Coronado to make the salaries work. Remember, you have to make the salaries work in the silly salary cap. And then they would probably have to give up a top 10 protected first round pick. Again, you got to give something to get something, right? A lot of people aren't going to like that trade rumor. So again, you guys got your opinions, drop it below. But remember, you have to entice the other team to actually make the trade if you actually want the player. I very much doubt that the Calgary Flames are going to want to trade make a trade that for a center that they have on their roster. So they're probably not going to want to trade like a Nazem Kadri. Also, he has like a no move clause as well. That probably would never happen as well, right? Now, Rasmus Andersson has a 6-team modified no trade clause. So you would have to hope that the Buffalo Sabres weren't on the 6 teams that when he puts his list in, but it is not impossible that the Calgary Flames could trade him because there's like 20 other teams they could trade. And if he doesn't put Buffalo on that no trade list, it could absolutely work. Now, Matt Coronado has actually been pretty damn good this year for Calgary. He's on pace for about 22 goals. I'm not really sure exactly what his ultimate ceiling is going to be, but he is a good young player. So again, remember, you have to give something to get something. So that's why I brought up, like, this is like the guts of the trade that I would consider if I was the Calgary Flames. They would have Nazem Kadri and Dylan Cousins down the middle, so they would solidify their center position as well. Now, obviously, the difficult situation for the Sabres, though, would be that Rasmus Andersson is going to be an unrestricted free agent, though. That is the one issue here, is that I don't know if they would want to do this because he's just going to be going to UFA, and they would have to pay him a lot of money to stick around in Buffalo, because I guarantee you, in my opinion, I think Rasmus Andersson is absolutely going to unrestricted free agency, and I am telling you, there is going to be a team that is going to pay him a lot. A lot of people are going to push back on that in the comments that they're wrong. I'm telling you, this guy is going to get paid. Rasmus Andersson is actually like really good. Ultimately, the success of this trade, if it were to happen to the Calgary Flames, completely depends on Dylan Cousins' ability to reach his fullest potential. Like, is this a guy that is going to reach his fullest potential, or is he like a 45-point, middle six center that gets paid $7 million, right? Like, I have a really hard time judging him. I think that he is a top six center. Like, if I had to guess, I think he's like maybe a bit more of a second line type center. I think he's a good player. I think that when he had the 68-point season, that's a little bit closer to what Dylan Cousins actually is. I do also think that the Calgary Flames are going to have to give up something serious because, again, the Buffalo Sabres are not going to just trade this guy for absolutely nothing. Even Pierre LeBrun in this trade rumor did touch on the fact that the Buffalo Sabres, it's going to be a high acquisition cost, of course. But again, we know that the Buffalo Sabres have been listening on this player for a long time. Pretty much every single insider has touched on the fact that they are talking and they are clearly not trying to trade him, but it's not that they're just not listening at all. They're willing to listen to Buffalo Sabres, that is. Anyways, I just wanted to touch on this NHL trade rumor. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate that, guys, and make sure to have a great day. Goodbye, guys.